Hi guys, I have gotten some feedback from my previous Tesla Robotaxi valuation model video, and this video is an improved, updated, and more detailed Tesla Robotaxi contribution valuation for the stock price. And I will try to explain to you guys very simply so all can follow, even though you're not a Tesla investor at all. I would like to say I am a Tesla investor for 6 years, so this is not financial advice at all. I'm not a financial advisor or anything. I'm just a guy that has been following Tesla very closely, almost 1 or 2 hours each day for a lot of years. So this valuation and these calculations are not something I came up with yesterday. It is a very thorough analysis. I think most of the videos on YouTube regarding Tesla Robotaxi model are far too complicated, and some of them are maybe a bit too optimistic as well, even though I am a Tesla bull. Okay, let's get straight into it. So this time I have included some of my Google search / ChatGPT / Grok answers in this analysis for you to understand how I came up with the calculation. If you look here in these rows, I have my Robotaxi assumptions, which is very crucial if you want to calculate the right net contribution for the Robotaxi for the Tesla stock. So most importantly, I think, is the total miles per day. As you can see, I have asked Google and Grok, and I think both Waymo and Lyft and Uber drives around almost 200 miles per day on an average day, a lot more in peak days and the weekends. So I'll just be very conservative and go with the 200 miles each day. And I want every one of you to take into consideration these numbers are based on the final answers here, but in reality Tesla has a lot lower base fare and price per mile, so they would be able to drive more. I'm conservative here, so I just replicate Uber's numbers as for now. I also asked Grok about the dead miles, how many miles are not paid miles at all. Around, I think I took 30% or 22%. So I take 22% dead miles where you have to pick up or in between rides. So these are not paid miles. Only 75% is the paid miles. Then the price per mile, as you can see here, Waymo's price per mile is much higher than I anticipated, almost $5 per mile, even though you are excluding the base fare, because all of the trips are so short. I think it's like 7 miles average per trip. As you can see here, the Tesla Robotaxi right now, price per mile is only $1, and I believe it will be a bit lower. And I have a base fare of $1, I guess, but it's a bit higher. I can see on Twitter and X, it's a bit higher than $1 base fare. So I put in base fare price, the price you pay each trip no matter what, $3, and I put the price per mile for $1. Total paid miles is 150 paid miles. Trips per day, if the average trip is around 7 miles, that would be 20 trips, which gives me a revenue per day of $210. Then we have the maintenance per mile. As you can see, the maintenance cost is predicted to be around $0.5 per mile right now for Tesla Robotaxi, if you exclude the safety driver, of course. Right now, I don't think it's profitable at all because you have the safety driver. But again, if we take $0.5 per mile as the maintenance, I think in the future this will be much lower. I think Elon talked about $0.2 per mile maintenance eventually, a decade ahead or 5 years ahead. So let's be conservative here and put $0.6 per mile, which gives me a net revenue per day of 90, net revenue per year of $32,000. So this is my assumptions I will use in my base case for the Robotaxi. Now I will scroll down, and I've typed in all the years and the Robotaxi assumptions. This is just basic math. No biggie here. The only thing that is sort of theoretical is my Robotaxi base case accumulated number. As you all know, right now Tesla produces 2 million cars each year, all of them capable of being a Robotaxi due to having hardware 4. And one last thing I forgot to notice you guys about. This entire assumption is based on the fact that Tesla owns all the robotaxis, not that you can be a private driver and have your own robotaxi and Tesla takes a cut of this. I will expand this model in the future. This is only Tesla-owned robotaxis. So my assumptions, my conservative base case assumptions is that Tesla will end up 5 years from now with 1 million robotaxis on the road. I mean, Drew Baglino and Elon was out talking about they want to produce robotaxis with the unbox process as fast as possible. I don't see why they make this car so fast to produce if they don't expect much more than 1 million robotaxis on the road eventually. But let's be conservative. Let's say that they ramp up very slow, only 10,000 next year. In my opinion, they can produce much more than 1 million robotaxis each year 5 years from now. The only thing hindering them would be the regulations. We know that this can be hard. Again, in my opinion, when the regulations are done for one city, for one country, when the proof of concept has been proved, I think every Western country would follow. And if China follows this, that would be massive. You guys can look up how many people lives in the big cities in China. It's quite astonishing compared to Europe and the US. There's much broader market there. But let's be very conservative. Only 1 million robotaxis, even though they produce, I'd say, at least 2 or 3 million robotaxis a year 5 years from now. Each robotaxi doing the net revenue of a bit over $30,000. This gives me a final stock contribution only from robotaxi. So this is the stock, not the actual stock price, but the how many dollars of the stock price is made of only of robotaxi contributions. There is also FSD and basic car sales and energy revenue, which would be higher than car sales in 5 years, in my opinion. There is probably also some Optimus robot. They would rent out FSD as well, I think. Autobidder, Dojo as a service, lots of other Tesla income revenue streams, maybe also insurance as well. So this number would be higher, but it's only the robotaxi contribution right here. Remember, guys, this is my very conservative bet. And I think a PE of 50 is also very conservative 5 years from now. Tesla's PE right now is over 200. And since Tesla is a growth stock, the PE should be higher. You guys remember like Nvidia and also Amazon. I think Amazon's PE were over 5,000, 3,000, I think, for an interval of a couple of months when people find out the Amazon Web Services were also not just a bookstore. I think the same thing is happening with Tesla. People are starting to find out it's a very crazy growth company, hence why the PE is so high right now. So I don't think you're not a fool if you anticipate the PE being at least 100 5 years from now, which would make the stock contributions almost 900 only from Robotaxi. But let's be very, very, very conservative here and put 50 as well. So this is my base case. If everything goes, I won't say right, if everything goes below average, in my opinion, my personal opinion is somewhere in between the base case and the bull case. So let's talk about the bull case, guys. The same exact recipe with the same numbers or the same metrics, not the same numbers. So the numbers has been varied a bit here. In my opinion, the total miles per day for a Tesla Robotaxi would be a lot higher because the base price per mile can be much lower due to the no LiDARs, and the cost of making a Robotaxi is exponentially going lower for Tesla. They have the entire recipe on the table. They just need to assemble the parts. They can take a much lower price per mile, and if you lower the price, then the demand would go higher. And I think I read somewhere on Google that in the very peak day for an Uber driver who drives almost 15 hours per day, they could do 320 miles for one day. I don't see why a Robotaxi that could drive all day, all night, only having to charge one time or two, cannot do at least 400 miles. but I've typed in 360 miles, and then my dead miles, I would actually on the fly put it like this, just to be exact the same. 25% dead miles for the Robotaxi in the bull case as well. With 40 trips per day, the same base fare of $3 per trip. And I'll put the base fare for only $2 in the Uber the bull case, in my opinion, because the base fare price has to be lower to drive this sort of demand. Enough talking. The only other thing here is the maintenance per mile. Elon talked about 0.2 cents per mile. Let's double that number, 0.4 cents to be conservative as well. Net revenue per year is $44,000. Let's go down to the Robotaxi bull case then. It is here. As you can see, Robotaxi net income in millions a lot higher than the base case. This is partly due to the higher revenue, also due to the fact that I think there will be much more Robotaxis on the road than we believe. Again, the same reasoning as above. The Robotaxi uses the unboxed process. They can produce a lot more Robotaxis than 1 million per year in just a couple of years. I think they produce almost 1 million Model Ys as of now. A Model Y is not a very old car at all. It's only a couple of years old. Every single Model Y produced right now is capable of being a Robotaxi. So I don't see why not we should have at least 3 million Robotaxis on the road if the regulations allow it in 5 years from now. This gives me a market cap of 10 trillion with a stock price contribution only from Robotaxi for $3,500. Again, in my opinion, I'm actually conservative as well here on the PE side. I've held the high PE of 200 a couple of years from now, and then I've dropped it slightly all the way down to 80 PE 5 years from now, since in 5 years from now, we would still, or Tesla would still be accelerating the Optimus robot, and that would be like sort of the new Robotaxi thing, where the Optimus starts being in people's companies and maybe also people's homes as well. So there would still be a lot of hype around the stock here, and that's why I think the PE is over 100 as well. But let's be conservative as well, even in the bull case. And as you guys can see, I've made a green line both in the base case and the bull case. That is 10 years from now. In the base case, 10 years from now, very conservatively low PE, we have a stock contribution of $2,000 only from Robotaxi. This is based on the fact that I think there could be 8 million Robotaxis on the road in 10 years. Incredibly low, in my opinion. When this technology goes running, nothing is stopping it because the price per mile would be so low. Only politics and regulations could, I won't say stop it, but hinder the exponential growth. So I'm conservative here with the 8 million Robotaxis on the road. And in the bull case, I have 15 million Robotaxis on the road in 10 years from now. I try to not project more than 5 years into the future because I think it's so hard to do. But even in this base case of 8 million Robotaxis on the road, operating at a base price per mile of $1, we would have a very, very high stock contribution. And guys, remember, this number here for the 5 years from now is actually good in my opinion. $500 from Robotaxi alone with a low PE is very good. That's good growth. And if the truth is somewhere in between these two, we would have a field day as Tesla investors, and you should hold on to your stock. This is not financial advice. This is just my honest opinion and my research throughout the years. I would like to know in the comments, is there anywhere in these numbers, the assumptions, or in the Robotaxi accumulated that I go wrong? These are the only metrics we can actually screw on. Also the PE ratios. Everything is just, except that it's just math. The EPS is just the basic income divided by the number of shares. And I've actually been conservative here and put a lot more shares than there is. I think there is 3.2 billion shares of Tesla. I put 3.5, which makes it even more conservative. So yeah, let me know what you guys think and about this robotaxi assumption. Is there anywhere where I'm completely wrong, or something I should change?